previous budgets. Babalondenze has more.
The official opposition MK party says the appropriation bill fails to address blockages in the economy like unemployment and funding key frontline services. The party's Sanele Mwali says the government of national unity continues to pursue the same policies which have also failed to address economic stagnation.
Today, unemployment sits at 42%, with youth sitting at over 60%. Food prices have been rising, with government unable to regulate effectively the food cartels in our country.
EFF MP Ompile Mabotja says the budget is just a copy and paste of previous administrations, which most GNU partners rejected in the past.
We're still not sure why some in the GNU today support this budget, because it is the same budget that was tabled in the past 10 years and they rejected it in each of those years.
The party says the bill should be amended to increase the health and basic education budgets to employ more doctors and teachers. Babalondenze, Eyewitness News, Cape Town International Convention Centre.
In the courts now, it has emerged that the man arrested in connection with the murder of a senior forensic auditor in the city of Ekurhuleni is also facing a separate murder charge. Thabani Goodwill Njalinjali appeared in the Kempton Park Magistrates Court today in connection to the murder of Mpho Mafole. Mafole was shot last month on the R23 highway while driving home from a work-related meeting. His attorney, Busiso Dlamini, has confirmed to the court that Njalinjali is currently out on bail for a different murder case.
Currently having a pending case in this court. It is scheduled on the 12th of August for trial. For the sake of brevity and moving forward, I do confirm that the bail application in this matter will fall within the ambit of Schedule 6, so the state can dispense with the certificate thereof.
The case has now been postponed to the 15th of next month. To this now, the DA in Johannesburg says the suspension of Transport MMC Kenny Kunene from all party activities by the Patriotic Alliance is not enough. This after PA leader Gayton McKenzie suspended his deputy for a month. Kunene will be investigated after he was found at the home of Katiso KT Molefe, who was arrested on Sunday. Molefe is accused of being the mastermind behind the 2022 killing of Oupa Sefoka, popularly known as DJ Somebody. Kunene says he was at Molefe's home to facilitate a meeting for journalists from his online publication. The DA says hanging out with suspected murderers and bringing the entire executive into disrepute is punishable. Caucus leader Belinda Kaiser Echiozonjoku says Joburg Mayor Dada Morero must remove Kunene from his post permanently.
A paid month-long holiday is not an option for Kunene. Nothing short of his unconditional removal from office will suffice, pending the outcome of both ethics and criminal investigations into his links to suspected murderers.
The South African Council of Churches has opened a 2-day anti-corruption conference featuring a panel of high-profile officials. Public Protector Koleka Gcaleka, former Chief Justice Raymond Zondo and Auditor General Tsakani Maluleke are part of the conference, which aims to confront corruption on spiritual, moral and systemic levels. The gathering takes place against the backdrop of a bombshell media briefing by KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, who alleged links between Police Minister Senzo Mchunu and an underworld criminal network. SACC President Sithebele Sipuka says it is the poorest of South Africans who suffer most from corruption.
When the very institutions meant to protect our people become compromised, when investigations are mysteriously derailed, when justice becomes selective, we witness corruption's cruelties face the war against the poor.
And the first group of teenagers who were stranded in Portugal is expected to arrive in Cape Town at this hour. Anxious but relieved parents are eagerly awaiting their children's return at the Cape Town International Airport. The BT Football Academy players and coaches were left with no return tickets after taking part in an international football tournament in Spain. One of the BT Football Academy coaches says the initial flight plans raised concerns amongst parents when they were told the group would be splitting up during the trip. Coach Jesse Julius says a second group will be arriving this evening.
On the same morning that we had to depart, we were told that we are flying in 2 groups. So the one group would fly earlier. That would be myself and another coach, which is Coach Clayton. Together with some kids, we would use Qatar Airlines. and we would fly into Doha and then from Doha to Madrid.
Gold is trading at $3,463.28 an ounce. The rand is at 17.54 to the dollar, 23.75 to the pound, 20.58 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $68.59 a barrel.
Leaving the Pretoria CBD, there's an accident scene in Hermanstad on Eskiam Pahlele. This is causing heavy delays between Van der Hof and the R80. There's also faulty traffic lights slowing down traffic Edenvale, Modderfontein Road and Van Riebeek, as well as in Randburg at Malibongo Drive and Mahogany.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 17 and 18 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, the two biggest opposition parties, the MK Party and the EFF, say they will not be voting in support of the appropriation bill, calling it anti-poor.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. This July, you won't just take a step, you'll take a stand. The 702 Walk the Talk is hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane. Get your tickets today on primemediaplus.com.
702
Live
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856
92.7
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Eight minutes past 1, it's Kabazela standing in for Relebogile this afternoon. How are you doing? How has your day been? I hope it's been a good day. Mine's been pretty chilled so far. Got to the office pretty early, prepped for the show, and here we are. So good to have you tuning in to 702 and to tuning in to me. Hope you stay with us for the next 2 hours, and we've got some interesting stuff lined up. But listening to the news, I mean, the Kenny Kunene saga continues. The DA wants him gone. The suspension for 30 days while the investigation by the Patriotic Alliance takes place is not enough for them. And I mean, what are your thoughts on Gayton McKenzie's actions? I saw a tweet of his a little bit earlier today. He's saying, people are saying that I shouldn't vouch for Kenny Kunene. I will vouch for him 1,000,000 times. I know this man. He is a socialite, and his only crime is the accessibility of everyone to him. I believe his version. The party has a duty to treat everyone the same. I don't know, should he be saying these things before an investigation has been completed? I don't know. That for me puts a little bit of a cloud over the whole investigation. And obviously we wait to see which are the lawyers that they will appoint to do the investigation. But brothers in arms, they stand.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
So there's something I wanted to chat to you about this afternoon, and it's maybe something that you don't want to think of, or you don't want to even, plan. But in some cases, maybe you are a control freak, and there's that part of you that you just can't help, and you have to do it. And there's the other part that maybe says, well, planning this thing helps the people that are left behind, so that they don't have to do much when the time comes. And that's when we pass, Mr. Jali. And one day you and I will not be here.
True.
And we will have our funerals and we will have our memorial services. But we're gone, long gone.
Yeah.
We are under the ground, or we're been in the furnace, cremated, whatever it may be. But the people that are left behind will attend our funerals.
Yes.
So
Organize them.
Well, and organize them,
Yes.
or maybe not, because perhaps you have organized your funeral.
Already.
Yes. So I saw this clip of this woman was talking to her grandmother. And her grandmother has been planning her funeral for a long time. And she updates this as things happen.
I saw it on TikTok.
You saw it.
Yeah.
So the granny is sitting at this computer, and she has got a program.
Yes.
And she opens up the program.
Yes.
It's got the list of speakers who she wants there.
And
it's got her
pictures.
photos. Yeah, you've seen the one.
And the obituary already done.
Everything.
Everything's sorted.
From A to Z, she has planned.
Yes, I saw.
Let's take a listen to the clip between the granny and the granddaughter.
I told her she only had to put the date I die on there. And she could do it just like it is. she'll have to touch it.
But you even have details on like who's gonna do what in the program.
My whole program, my whole order of service. Who I want to speak, who I want to sing, what songs, who's preaching, who's everything. Everything.
You're not gonna have no control of that.
It's gonna go just like I said. And you know what your mother said? She said, that's the epitome of a control freak.
Yes.
You're even trying to, I said, it's my funeral. I can have it my way.
Her funeral, her way.
Unfortunately, it's not her funeral. It's just she won't even be conscious when everything is happening. So she won't even.
But she's planned it. There she is. She's planned everything for her funeral. Do you think that's a bit weird?
I don't think it's weird. It's their wishes. My mother always said when I used to tell her this is how I want my funeral to be, she'd be like, but you'll be gone. We'll do whatever we want to do. You know, you have no say. But with me, I'm very specific and very simple.
Yeah.
You know how black people are so over-exaggerating when it comes to funerals? Well, that's how I put it. They'll buy the cow. Anybody is welcome to come to the funeral, and it's just unnecessary costs. So I want to keep it simple. I want to do, if I could call it, a white funeral. I went to a friend's funeral, a white mourning.
A white funeral, yeah. Okay,
yeah, it's totally different. You'll be surprised how white and black people do their funerals differently. And the way white people do it, it's very simple, chilled, no fuss. The less, the better.
Yeah.
Like COVID times. And I would like to be cremated.
Yeah.
You know, simple casket. Yes.
Can I speak at your funeral one day?
Anybody
Would I be allowed?
Anybody could speak. You know, you could speak as much as you want, but don't spend too much on food. You don't have to buy a cow.
So keep it simple is what you want.
As simple as possible. Yeah. Please, that money that you're going to spend, use it for yourself. You're still alive.
Put that in your will, Mr. Jali. When you leave here now, put that in your will.
I think I'll have to do that immediately after this.
So there we go. That's the question I wanted to ask you this afternoon. Have you planned your funeral? Or elements of your funeral? Maybe you've only said, these are a couple of songs that I want to be played. And what's the reason for those songs? And, for a funeral, is the funeral for the loved ones that are left behind, or is the funeral for the person who's passed on? And this person who's passed on, who now wants the funeral the way they want it, do you honor the respects? Do you say, okay, this is what they wanted, this is what we do? Or you say, no, this is how we want to send them off? I'd love to get your thoughts on that one this afternoon. 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. Have you planned your funeral or certain elements of your funeral? Let's take a listen to some of the voice notes that are coming in a moment. But hey, I see Tandi is on the line there. Tandi from Randburg. How are you, Tandi?
I'm good, thanks. How are you, Kazela?
I'm very well, Tandi. What's on your mind?
Yes, so I have a very certain element that I have planned to the T, and I told my family members to please do it. If not, I will haunt them, and I take it very seriously.
Okay.
So for me, it's where I'd like to be buried. I already bought the gravesite next to my partner who passed away. Mind you, we were not married, but I believe that we're soulmates. So I already bought the hole next to him, correct? I told my family that I wish to be buried. Whether I'm married or not, that's besides the fact. That's who I think and believe is my soulmate, and that's who I should be next to. That's the only wish I have.
So that's the only wish that you have, and I hope one day they will respect that, so that you can go and lie there next to your soulmate, and hopefully you'll meet each other in the next life.
No, I agreed. Every year I go to make sure that no one has bought it, and it's still mine.
It's still yours. Love it. Tandi, thanks for sharing. I appreciate your call. That's Tandi from Randburg. Tebogo from Kwatema. Hey, Tebogo, how you doing?
How are you, man?
I'm well, thank you, bro. Are you funerals planning, or what do you want to talk about?
Well, on my side, I've got a website which is called One of the Stars. And, when there is a funeral, people send messages, and those messages and the speeches, they tend to disappear after the funeral.
Yeah.
And one of the things that made us to develop this website, which is called One of the Stars.
Oneofthestars.co.za, or what is
No,
there?
oneofthestars.com.
Oneofthestars.com.
Yes.
Okay.
So people, when they take a look at the picture of the deceased, at least they can have an idea of what kind of a life the person lived while he was still alive. So in that topic that you're talking about, I thought that people who have planned, their funerals, they can take a look at it and, give us feedback if, it's something that they can use.
Oneofthestars.com.
Yes.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll check it out and see. But the objective here is to basically, if someone's passed, you go and post. I've just opened it up here now, and there's a whole bunch of pics that are floating around on the screen. There's some stars in the background. I've clicked on Joseph Robert Cap, honorary star.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean,
you just need to go
you
to
just
the menu,
need content
and also
now.
there's instructions.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need content for it.
Okay, all right. Well, that's a nice idea, and maybe somebody will take you up on that. Oneofthestars.com, and go and have a look there, and maybe you can put your loved one on that website to be in memoriam. It's a good idea there. Let's take a listen to some of the voice notes, shall we?
Hi, Kabazelan team. It's Nos from Centurion. I've planned it in my head. I just need to put it in writing. Which I suppose, these things you keep stalling, thinking, but what if I write it, does it mean, so I know what song I want, I know who I want to speak, and I know how I want it coordinated. I just need to jot it down. I haven't done it because I've just been procrastinating, but it's a great conversation. Perhaps it will just put one into actually doing it, putting pen on paper. Thank you.
Good day, Kabazela. Kabazela, for me, I've already planned my funeral. What's going to happen on my funeral is I'm going to be the main speaker, even though I know that I'm dead. And I'm going to select my own music. No one talks in my funeral, only me, even though I know that I'm dead, Kabazela. Sharp.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I've seen a video where a guy recorded recorded his voice, and they put it in the coffin, and then they played it from the coffin. And he was obviously a jokester. And while people were mourning and crying out beside the hole that he was going to be buried in, they started hearing this guy's voice. I mean, a bit freaky, but it did give people a bit of a chuckle. So, yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of things I suppose you can do. Mpo from Krugersdorp, you've planned your funeral.
I have, Kabazela. How are you this afternoon?
I'm very, very well, thank you, Mpo. Thanks for calling through.
Yeah, so I've written it in my will that I want to be cremated. I am an organ donor, so they must cremate me, donate my organs, and I've set out that there's no cooking of black pots because that's what the black community does. Sandwiches, and I've told my friends none of them are allowed to speak, or my family, because all I want them to do is praise and worship. Nobody must lie. Whatever they need to say about me, they can say while I'm alive.
Okay.
So I'm not having a program. I've had a party where I've allowed my friends to tell me exactly what they think about me, and so that part has been done. We don't have to do it in my absence.
I like that. So, you need to appoint somebody who will be the minister of police at your funeral to say, no, this is what she wanted and this is how it is going to be done. Because families at the end of the day can take over.
I've told all of them. My daughter's only 8 at the moment, but I've told my sister, I've told my friends, I've told my aunts and uncles, so I will come and haunt them should they do anything that's different to what I've asked for.
The ghost of Mpo will find you if you mess with their funeral plans. I love it. Mpo, thanks so much for the call.
Thanks, Kabazela.
Cheers. So we ask, if you've just tuned in, we are talking about a video that I saw where a granny has planned everything when it comes to her funeral, from the program, from the speakers to the photos that she's put on the program. And her daughter is calling her a complete control freak. Do you think it's got anything to do with being a control freak? I don't know. I think each to their own. But let's hear your comments. 072 702 1702.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
This news platform is also about exclusives. Why didn't they run the story of the police arresting Mr. Molefe? Because that is an exclusive. At the time, nobody knew about it.
No, the publication is not operational. If you ever look at the website has not been running. So we were going to relaunch it with this exclusive.
I've got the website here opened, and there's a story that was published on the 22nd of July. So it is operational.
I'm talking about your exclusive story, not breaking news.
But then there's a story here on the website about Buti Manamela being appointed as Higher Education Minister. That's not an exclusive, but it's on your website.
Yes, it's just to keep the website running. I'm talking of operational in terms of an exclusive story.
Steve Madale, the national spokesperson for the Patriotic Alliance.
Clement Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
This year, the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz Festival presents 3 unforgettable days deep in the heart of in the heart and art of jazz. From the 26th, 27th, and 28th September, Omo Sangare, Abahamu, Jazzmeira Horn, Silent Nko, and the Noisemakers, Trio, Mashele, Gabby Motuba, and over 50 world-class acts will be ready to welcome you and yours to 4 magnificent stages of the Sandton Convention Centre. Take me there. Buy your tickets at Ticketmaster now.
And they're off. Little too young, barely too, racing injured. Here comes whipped into shape, running on pain. Duct tape dreams on the outside, tongue-tied and terrified. And now discarded glory, limping to avoid the glue truck. It's beaten again, crop flying, lungs bleeding. And it's doped up glory, gets it by a nose. Now that's racing.
Cruelty is staining horse racing. The NSPCA is calling for the industry to sign their racing code of conduct. Show your support at nspca.co.za/Rein in the Pain.
From 24 to 27 July, Decorex Joburg returns to the Sandton Convention Centre, now spanning 5 halls. Explore over 300 brands, shop exclusive show specials, and discover the latest in interiors, kitchens, bathrooms, and luxury finishes. Experience live interactive demos, expert-led talks, and the Handmade Africa Design Market. There's something for every style, space, and home. Book your tickets now at decorex.co.za or at the door.
The team's on a roll today. Let me focus on payroll. Duty calls in the kitchen. That's why I have a business insurer that is agile and on the ball all the time on all things. I chose My Way Business Insurance, getting 24/7 emergency service and saving on my premiums, plus my business assist to handle my admin.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
702 and Corporates That Care with Bata are talking about Bata Children's Program.
We've run school donations, volunteer days. We have about 82 people in our head office in KZN. They frequently go down to the Malvern Children's Home. The Malvern Children's Home is a home for orphans that we've adopted basically in the KZN region. We've assisted them with jungle gyms, water tanks, stationery, libraries. We've built a library for them, as mentioned. Unfortunately, the Malvern's Children's Home has a R1 million debt, water and electricity debt.
Sure.
So we've created a GoFundMe page, and a portion of the proceeds from our Mandela Day shoe sales will go towards this cause. So when corporates choose Toughies for their Mandela Day giving, they're not just buying the school shoes, they're helping children keep their home running.
From jungle gyms to school supplies and life-changing donations, Bata is building brighter futures. Visit bata.co.za to learn more. 702. Let's walk the talk. Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
25 minutes past 1, it's Kabazela on your radio. And I just want to tell you quickly what's coming up on the show. So just after the 1:30 news, we're going to be talking in our finance feature about fixing a bad credit score. I know the team did pick up on it last week, but there was so much that you wanted to find out. So bad credit scores, how to fix that. Then after 2 o'clock, we got the masterclass on sustainable design for better living. So that's a whole interesting one about designing your home or redesigning your home for the environment and so much more. So that's a chat that we'll be having just after 2 in our masterclass.
For more about 702,
go to primemediaplus.com.
Rashida, my producer, has just reminded me I must say hello to people that are watching on YouTube. that are streaming and watching. I just saw myself now. I nearly fell off my chair. Hello to everybody listening on YouTube. So if you want to stream on YouTube, just go to the 702 YouTube channel. But if you've just tuned in, we are talking about planning one's funeral. Have you decided to plan your funeral? Have you been to a funeral where somebody has planned everything from the from point A to point Z? I'd love to hear your thoughts this afternoon. Let's take a look at some of the WhatsApps that are coming through. We've got a message from Len. He says, I've already written my obituary and recorded my closing words, but with months and days, I do edit or update it. My life, my words. People will lie and say you are good, yet they treated you like nothing. So I made the plans. Danko Kabazela. So, let's hear your thoughts. Jeff, you calling from Woodmead on planning your funeral. How are you doing, Jeff?
Yes. It's not really about planning future, but it's something that's so important that when you pass away, you need to have entrusted all your passwords to someone.
Yeah.
Because they can't get into your bank account, into your investments, into anything. And people forget about this. I mean, unfortunately, my daughter lives in Wales, so she's will be the estate person. And so you have to be careful about this, because you give this to, they might want to kill you. Because you get into all the things. But it is important, because if suddenly, I mean, for example, if you go into banking, you need to go into your computer if you're going to do EFTs, and then it comes up on your phone, so you need to be able to get into your phone. So, you give this all to someone, and they say, well, we can't get into any of this stuff, so how do we do what we're supposed to be doing, or distribute funds, or whatever it is in terms of your will? So it's actually quite an important consideration, especially in the world today, where everything is based on passwords.
So true, Jeff. I mean, that's valuable information. So it's having that available, maybe on a little drive somewhere that people can access in the, when they need to, so that they have all that information available when the dreaded day comes. But yeah, good advice. Thank you, Jeff.
You know what you do with the drive, just quickly, is you encrypt it. And then the person who is the estate person then gets the password to the encrypted external drive.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you've got to be very careful about that, because obviously, in the modern terms, they're really sharp people who can get into your computer. They'll get to your password within minutes.
Very true.
And so you need to encrypt at least two encryption processes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they get to everything. Yeah. So I just thought, it's not planning a funeral, but it's planning for those poor people who are
all counts. It all counts. Definitely. Jeff, thanks so much for your comments. Let's take a listen to some of our voice notes coming through, Apple.
Hi, Kabazela. Nolutando here in Pretoria. So I haven't made a program or thought of specific things I want for my funeral, but about 2 weeks ago, my grandfather's sister passed away. We buried her in Cape Town, and she had her funeral planned, a program, speakers and all, and we kept to that. And I think that was even simpler and easier for everyone involved. That's what we did. And if I had to think of one for myself, I do not want catering. I don't want food. I don't want people buying anything. No, please. No food. Too much money wasted. No, thank you. Mm-mm.
Hey, Kabazela, Mpumelelo here. My grandmother planned her funeral, and no one opposed her. She asked to be buried on a Thursday so that those who have to be there will be there. Those who just want to come for the food will be at work somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting one. The food element has come up a lot here on the WhatsApp line. A lot of people saying no catering, no slaughtering. So, I mean, that's a big one there with the food issue, because, I mean, it can be hell of a costly at the end of the day to cater for so many people. The conversation continues after the news, so do keep sending them in 072 702 1702. But right now, 1:30, time for EWN with Mbali Dlamini.
Thanks, Jono. Good afternoon. Deputy Finance Minister and ANC MP David Masondo says political squabbling over the budget will come at a high price for service delivery. Masondo's warning about the impact on South Africans comes as MPs prepare to vote on the appropriation bill at the National Assembly this afternoon. If it passes, it will bring to a close 4 months of an intense back and forth between parties over government's spending plans. It has emerged that the man arrested in connection with the murder of a senior forensic auditor in the city of Ekurhuleni is also facing a separate murder charge. Thabani Goodwill Njalinjali appeared in the Kempton Park Magistrates Court today in connection to the murder of Mpho Mafole. Mafole was shot last month on the R23 highway while driving home from a work-related meeting. And former Chief Justice Raymond Zondo says restoring public confidence in the National Prosecuting Authority hinges on greater transparency. Speaking at an anti-corruption conference hosted by the South African Council of Churches today, Zondo has urged the NPA to explain controversial decisions, especially when dropping charges against high-profile individuals. Those are the headlines this EWN and more at 2 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Hermanstad leaving the Pretoria CBD. We still have that accident scene on Eskiam Pahlele causing some delays between Van der Hof and the R80. Otherwise, the rest of Gauteng not looking too bad. No accidents have been reported on our highways. Just look out for those faulty traffic lights though. That's in the Edenville area on Modderfontein Road and Van Riebeck. There's also traffic lights not working in Midrand at Old Pretoria Road and Olifantsfontein Road. If you're traveling into the Joburg CBD, traffic is a bit sluggish. This is on Main Reef Road approaching Church, also due to faulty traffic lights. If you come across any other traffic issues, please SMS us on 31702. We are also on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
Did the suspended Minister Senzo Mkhunu interfere with investigations to either protect his associates or even criminal overlords? We're asking now, will the Commission of Inquiry set up by President Ramaphosa get to the nub of the allegations, and will it do so timeously?
I think for me, this will test the strength of the powers that the Parliament have on oversight on the executive, but also it will test whether Parliament takes seriously the national security of this country.
Tobani Zikalala.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
The iconic 702 Walk the Talk is back, and it's bigger than ever. In celebration of Mandela Month, 702 Walk the Talk takes to the streets of Tshwane as participants walk past some of South Africa's most iconic landmarks. Join the walk this Sunday, 27 July, and choose between the 6.7 kilometre route or the full 8 kilometre from the Freedom Park Heritage Site to the Union Buildings. Grab your tickets at primediaplus.com. This message is proudly brought to you by the National Department of Sports, Arts and Culture.
Psst. Hey, no longer feeling like the man you used to be? The man who introduces himself and people say, I know.
The fact is, 95% of men with low testosterone go untreated.
Vitamin High Performance Supplements for men helps recharge energy, regain lean muscle, and reload performance. Available at all good pharmacies and vitalamin.co.za. Vitalamin. Don't get older. Get better.
It all starts with FNB Private. Diversify your portfolio to grow your wealth. Gain global exposure through shares or unit trusts on the FNB app. Tap into international investments and tax-efficient offshore trusts to build your legacy. Unlock invaluable with FNB Private. Help changes everything. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSB and credit provider. FNB International Trustees, FNB IT registration number 3080. Licensed by the Guernsey Financial Services Commission to conduct fiduciary business. T's and C's apply.
702.
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
It's Kabazela on your radio this afternoon. It's, 25 minutes to 2. I've only planned one thing when it comes to my funeral. Once I'm gone, you can do whatever, but there's one song I wanted. Ever since I was a young boy, I loved this song, and I wanted it at my funeral. Strange, but I loved it.
Moon River, wider than a mile, I'm crossing you in style someday. Oh, dream maker, you heartbreaker, wherever you're going, I'm going your way. Two drifters off to see the world. There's such a lot of world to see.
Michael Bublé, his version of Moon River. And it's a song about yearning for adventure and embracing life's unpredictable journey. And I suppose it could be the unpredictable journey in the afterlife, I suppose. Brandy from Midrand, you say funerals are too long.
Hi, Kabazela.
Hey.
Interesting topic, and I don't think we speak often enough about this, hey?
Mm.
But I just wanted, I'm also guilty. I haven't planned anything about my funeral, but I wanted to comment on what a couple of the callers have been talking about the catering. And as much as I agree with it, especially for our black funerals, we spend too much money on catering. But then we also need to just take note of the time, because you find that the funerals are so long. I think it would be so selfish to keep people in for so long and then you don't feed them. So if the funeral is short, by all means, no catering. But if you're going to have people coming in from 10 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon, that can't be right at all.
Yeah, that is a long time, and like you said, you do need to give them something, hey?
Yeah.
All right, nice one, Brandy from Midrand. Thanks very much for calling in. Some of your WhatsApps coming through from Leku Letzi. It says, if you are not Queen Elizabeth, please don't bother arranging your funeral. My advice to all these people: lay off Nyaupe. Sure, okay. Well, what else we got? Let's take a listen to some more of the voice notes.
Hi, Kabazela. How are you?
I'm well.
I'm sorry. I actually think planning one's funeral by themselves to the teeth, that's just being a control freak. A funeral, it's not for the dead. It's actually for the living. It's their way of grieving, finding closure. You know what I mean? All that. So let them plan your funeral the way they want. By all means, provide financially so that they're not also under the financial strain to plan your funeral. But really, everything else, allow people to actually grieve you the way that serves them. Not you. You are dead. You have no idea what's going on now, but still, you still want to control that. No way.
For a simple funeral, let him just pick it up. Mike here.
Hi, Kabazela. It's Rudolf here from Alberton. The worst I've had, I helped my one friend to arrange his own funeral. Before he even passed away, we arranged everything, and then he passed away and he was buried. So he arranged his whole funeral by himself, and then I assisted him.
Hi, Kabazela. It's Isaac here. Yes, I told my children that I don't want a coffin. They must wrap me with a cloth and then use a cow skin to cover me. And then it's only that I don't want pastors to come and preach. I want them to play the video where I was with them and where I was feeling happy and enjoying. Is what I want. Not a lot of pastors and all these kind of things to come and talk all nonsense like they know me, although they don't know me. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Kabazela. I plan to donate my body to the university for research. And if my body is not in good condition, for instance, if I die in a car crash, then they can take out the organs for organ donation if it's still good. And then my family is scattered all over, and they won't be together anyway, so I won't have a funeral. So I'm very happy about that. They can just make a drink to celebrate my life if they feel like it. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for all those voice notes and those contributions. And this is a very important WhatsApp that's come through here. And I was thinking about it on air and I couldn't remember. But Sechaba has saved me. So he says, "Hi Kabazela, Nikki Bush has a what if file. It's a checklist of important documents needed to wrap up someone's life after death. Very useful. Thanks, from Sechaba in Meyerton." Yeah, that's it. It's called the What If File, and she has spoken on it on 702 a couple of times. So if you want that, I know you can get a free download. I think it's on nikkibush.com. Thank you very much for those contributions and all those voice notes on planning your funeral one day. Maybe it's made you think you should, or maybe it's like, you know what, I'm dead, I don't care.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
The Patriotic Alliance has suspended its Deputy President Kenny Kunene after he confirmed that he was at the house of one of the men arrested for the alleged involvement in the murder of DJ Sambodi. Patriotic Alliance leader Gayton McKenzie says he will write to the city of Johannesburg to have Kunene removed as Transport MMC.
Kenny Kunene will be investigated, and I'm going to tell you who's going to investigate him, lawyers of good character. I'm also going to tell him to stand back from politics for 1 month until the investigation is done.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
This year, the Private Security Industry Regulatory Authority, also known as CIRA, is proud to be partnered with 702 Walk the Talk. Look out for the CIRA activation at the finish point if you want to chat about how they contribute to safer communities. CIRA is also actively vetting all contracted private security companies involved in the walk, so you get to the finish line safely and confidently. CIRA, your partner in security and safety at 702 Walk the Talk. Safer homes, safer communities, safer businesses.
Are you looking for deals you can't ignore? Get to Dis-Chem and Dis-Chem Baby City for big baby price cuts this winter. Save 70 Rand on Bepanthen 100 gram nappy care ointment, now only 239 Rand 99. Buy Huggies Gold Nappies Value Pack, sizes 1 to 5 for just 179 Rand 99 per pack. And get 30% off all Johnson's baby products. Don't miss out on these big baby price cuts and more. Offers end 17 August. Only at Dis-Chem and Dis-Chem Baby City.
At Bright, we don't just provide business insurance. We insure your businesses.
Future success.
Because your business is so much more than desks and computers and equipment, which is why we use our specialist expertise to tailor solutions for each client differently to ensure what's really important. So insure your businesses.
Financial security, BT.
With Bright today, contact your broker or go to brightinsure.co.za to find out more. Bright. Approach risk with purpose. Bright is a licensed insurer and authorized FSP.
702. Finance feature.
It's 16 minutes to 2 o'clock. It's Kabazela on your radio. And now we are looking at the finance feature. And today we're going to be talking about fixing a bad credit score. Do you even know what your credit score is? I know on some of the banking apps you can go into the app and have a look at what your credit score is. And, you know, have you had a bad credit score and have you managed to fix it and turn it around? I'd love to hear that. And, you know, what is your credit score? Have you checked it and are you happy with it? Or are you kind of like, hey, I need to fix this because it's affecting me in many financial issues in my life. But to help us navigate this conversation this afternoon on how to fix a bad credit score, we're joined by Luca Volpini and Emil Nell, Holistic Financial Advisors. Good afternoon, gents, and thank you for coming into the studio.
Afternoon. Thanks for having us.
I see, Emil, you've brought an elephant, a little fluffy toy element here. Is there an elephant in the room?
Yeah, we need to speak today about the elephant in the room regarding credit scores.
Nice one. Okay, so let's kind of from the outset. What is the credit score, and why is the credit score so important?
So essentially, the credit score is a number that is assigned to you by the credit bureau or any company that you have some sort of debt with, that is based on your ability to pay them back, the history that you've had with them. So they'll take into account how much debt you've taken with them, how frequently you paid, and then also they gave you a set limit. How much of that limit have you actually used?
Okay, so I mean, this is compiled by the TransUnions and all those kind of things.
100%.
So, I mean, I suppose to have a credit score, you have to be forced into taking credit. So that's also maybe a good thing and a bad thing, right?
Yeah, so it can be seen as a bit of a catch-22.
Yeah.
In order to get a score, you have to take credit, but that's why it's important to manage your credit properly so that you build a healthy score.
Okay, so in terms of your credit score, let's say what are the issues that are going to affect your credit score? Like, is it missing a payment once a month, or is it a multitude of things?
Well, the biggest thing is you have to pay on time. You have to stay within your limits. And also, it's better if you have more credit.
So when they look at your rates, like we mentioned earlier, you've got a utilization rate. You want to keep within about 30% of that. If you go more than that, they'll flag you. Also, like we said, you have to take credit to get a score. It's important to remember, just because you stop using it, don't close your accounts as well. You need that history to back you going forward. Because like Emil was saying, paying on time and the consistency of doing that over a longer period is what helps improve your score.
Yeah, okay. Emil, take a deep breath there. Don't stress. You're just talking to me. Yeah, I know it can be a daunting experience, but just relax yourself. We'll be good. I'm here to hold your hand. So, if you're now in a situation where you have a bad credit score, what are some of the things that you can start doing, on a monthly basis, then, 6 months down the line, etc., to start getting this credit score up and improved?
So one of the first things to do, like Emil said, obviously it comes down to paying on time. So if you've got a bad score, it's more than likely because you've potentially defaulted on payments or you haven't been paying on time. So paying on time consistently, like we said as well, don't use your full limit, stick within that 30% limit. Also, you're in debt now, you've got a bad score, don't go take out further credit, because now they're going to go look up at your history. And unfortunately, like we said, it's a catch-22. By applying for more credit, that does actually, at the beginning, bring your score down. So those are the things you must try to do. Another good tip is also to ensure that you have an emergency savings fund on the side, so that you don't have to go into bad credit. If you know, okay, I've got these payments, money's a bit tight, but I've got the savings fund on the side, I can now access that in order to pay off some of the credits I've got.
Yeah. I mean, difficult trap if you're in it, where you're accessing debt and credit, to have that liquidity is a tough one.
Yeah.
So, if you're in that sort of boat, it's difficult to get out of that, I suppose. But if you start paying on time and you're managing it now, how long does it take before you start seeing your credit score increase?
So that usually takes between 6 and 12 months.
Yeah.
Then it will start to recover.
Okay, if you listening now, we're talking about bad credit scores, and if you want to get out of your bad credit scores, we're chatting to our gents Emil Nel and Luca Fulpini, holistic financial advisors, on what to do if you have a bad credit score. So if you've got any questions, do send us on 072 702 1702 or give us a call on 011 8830 0702. Those are the numbers to interact with the guys in studio. Now, what are some of the issues that one needs to consider? So, you're paying on time, you've not taking out more credit, you've maybe managed to get a little bit of liquidity into your bank account, and you've now paid up a debt. So, does this impact your credit score? Because I see, okay, this debt is now decreased. They've only got XYZ left on the table. Does that help improve the credit score by closing certain accounts?
So when we say close the account, obviously you've paid a debt off, so your balance will now be zero, which is where you want to be at the end of the day. But as I previously said, you don't want to actually shut down your account. So say you've got a Truworths or an Edgar's account, something like that, which they will look at for your credit score. You want to still keep it open, even if you're not using it, because you've got history there. And if you're sitting at a balance of zero, that is now good history. You've proven that you can pay off your debt.
Right.
By closing that account, when other creditors will now look you up, if they can't find that good history because it no longer exists, obviously it's not going to help you in the future.
Okay, we've got a question coming through here. Can you please ask your guests if checking your credit score yourself affects it? Not if you apply for it, but merely check it yourself.
So if you can go check on websites like ClearScore. Obviously, you've got the other companies like TransUnion and CompuScan. So just by doing that yourself, those are reports that are generated. That doesn't necessarily affect your score. And some of the different unions, you have X number of times that you can do it for free each year as well. However, if you apply for credit, so even for something as simple as getting a cell phone contract, if you go to Vodacom or Telkom, they will do a credit check on you, and that does affect your credit score. That will come up on your report as someone looked you up.
So you said you can go to some of the credit unions for free checks. Why thereafter would they charge you if this is such important information to the public?
So it will depend on what sort of a report you're looking at. Obviously, if you're just looking at your score, seeing what's happening, that's not a detailed thing. But I think it's more for the people that are in trouble now, and they may be seeking something like credit counseling where you're going to need extra services. That's where you'll be looking with a fee.
So what about fraud? What if somebody has identity theft and gone and opened up accounts all over in your name, ran up these accounts and now not paying? I mean, that's going to affect your credit score as well, right?
Yeah, so that can be a big problem as well. That's why it's very important, all your personal information. That's why they always say, if you got something with your ID number, you must keep it hidden. It mustn't be visible to everyone. Obviously, your bank pins, things like that. Because now, if someone goes and opens accounts in your name, a lot of these things, especially like clothing accounts, you'll see are very easy to open. They don't do many checks for something like that. So first of all, there's an inquiry against you, which will affect your score. Now, if this person goes around running riots as well, just making all these purchases where they don't pay, now you get charged with interest because you're not making payments, and then that will decrease your score.
Okay, some more questions coming through here on 072 702 1702. Hi there, can a potential employer do a credit check on you, and does this affect your credit score?
Yes, so they can. So when they do your background checks, a lot of companies will do something like that. I know at our company, they even do one where they take your fingerprints and they look for criminal records, but they do have a look at your credits, maybe not necessarily your credit score, but all your data that's there. And they obviously want to make sure that they are employing someone who is credible. So if you've got, maybe you even had court judgments against you in the past, they're going to think twice about employing you then.
Okay, so a message from Anonymous. Please ask your guests if you had a previous judgment and you have successfully cleared it. How long should it take until it improves your score? I removed a judgment over a year ago, but I find that it still affects my credit applications now.
It's usually up to 5 years for judgment
5
to
years.
go away. Yes.
Yes, that takes long, hey?
Yeah.
Okay, what happens, this is from Tabi, what happens after paying off your credit card? Will that affect your credit score negatively? No, it should be...
No, so as I said earlier, what they actually look at is the amount of credit that you're using, so it's the percentage. So I think a lot of people get a bit confused where they think, as long as I'm paying it off regularly, it's good for my score, which is good. But if you're using your full limit the whole time, and even if you're paying it off straight away, they're still going to say, okay, this person needed to use their full limit this month, so they weren't responsible with their money. So they're looking at the utilization rate. So if you've got it down to 0, that's obviously 0% you're being used. So that will be good for your score.
Okay. And then what about some banks like to take a minimum payment to pay off pay your credit card? So if you've just got as a debit order the minimum payment that's due, can that negatively affect your credit score?
No, it shouldn't, because at the end of the day, it is something in your favor. It's showing that you can consistently pay.
Mm-hmm.
And just another point, that's actually a very good idea with all your credit to set up some sort of debit order payment so that obviously that's, if you don't make the minimum payment, that's when they start charging interest on you because you now haven't made it. So to avoid going into that deeper debt, it's definitely a plus to set up those debit orders. And then it also gives you that peace of mind knowing that in a way you've planned for those payments to come off ahead of time.
Okay, 5 minutes to 2. We're talking about fixing a bad credit score with Luca Volpini and Emil Nau, Holistic Financial Advisors. We've got a call from Smega in Kagiso. Afternoon, Smega.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. You've got a question for the gents.
Yes, I even have got evidence. There are these other companies who are preying on people, right? They would go to, that's what they're saying, I've recorded some of the calls. They would go to National Consumer Database, that's what they're telling me. They would then get your information there. Already they go to go check your credit score. Sometimes they even call you and make as easy as consented for them to go and check your credit score. You go and check it without you knowing. And the number one, contravening Poppy Act, because they will have your information, have your consent. So I don't know if you guys are aware of such companies that will just go randomly, go check your credit score without you consenting.
Okay, Emil and Luca, have you heard of that before?
So, yeah, things like this can happen. Obviously, we have the Poppy Act in place for a reason, but it is something that people try to get around a lot. And I mean, I think everyone can relate. We all get those phone calls from, even if it's a bank or another company, and you wonder, how did they get my details? So obviously it's been a similar story to what the gentleman just said over the phone. So if that does happen to you, I think the best thing to do you can go directly to the credit bureau and say, listen, seems like my data has been breached. What do we do about this? And you can report it and take it up with them.
Okay, that's some good advice there. Last one, I think, from Tsepo. He says, hi, Kabazela. Please ask your guest, I have a court judgment from my business debts. Will this affect my personal profile? And I have checked, my credit score is 670. That's Tsepo from Pretoria. So will a business debt affect his personal profile?
So it will depend obviously if the business is linked to him, if he's I'm not sure if he's the owner. Yeah, so because it'll be linked to him and possibly his ID number, then it would affect him. Maybe not on the surface level, but when they start doing deeper dives, obviously they can put 2 and 2 together.
Okay. And then I see he said his credit score is 670. What is considered to be a good credit score?
Yeah, over 600, it depends on the company, but 600 to 800 is a good credit score. Some companies, the max is like 750, but usually between 600 and 800 is a good score.
Okay, all right. So just if people want to go and check out their credit scores, maybe give us 2 sites that are free to go and check.
The first one is ClearScore and maybe TransUnion or CompuScan.
Yeah.
Okay, ClearScore and TransUnion. Lovely, guys. Thanks very much for joining us. Learned
very much
a lot
for having
about
us.
credit scores. And, try and keep those minimum payments going, as you said, to try and, help that credit score along.
For more about 702,
Go to primemediaplus.com.
Kabazela on your radio, and coming up just after the Eyewitness News with Mbali Dlamini is we're going to be chatting a masterclass, and our guest will be Kekeletso Tsesoloni. She's the co-founder and director of Ramtsilo, and we're going to be talking about sustainable design for better living. Now, I mean, you might want to know what that is. I also asked the question, I was like, what on earth are we going to be talking about here today? And, what are some of the issues that we're going to be looking at? So I suppose in a way, it can we build and decorate our spaces that make us feel better, live healthier, and maybe help the planet along? So that's maybe one of the things. So if you are maybe building a home, or you may be renovating a home, or you're involved in building an office, are these things that you are considering? Are you looking at maybe installing water-saving, appliances? Are you looking at appliances that maybe help with cheaper electricity? Are you considering the solar options? All these kind of things will form part of the conversation that we'll have in our masterclass just after 2. But right now it's 2:00.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Mbali Dlamini. Deputy Finance Minister and ANC MP David Masondo says political squabbling over the budget will come at a high price for service delivery. Masondo's warning about the impact on South Africans comes as MPs prepare to vote on the appropriation bill at the National Assembly this afternoon. If it passes, it will bring to a close 4 months of an intense back and forth between parties over government spending plans. Masondo says failing to finalize the budget will hurt the vulnerable the most. Nugukanya Mdambo has the details.
In Budget 3.0, National Treasury focused on plans to address the persistent spending pressures, to restore critical frontline services and invest in infrastructure. This is part of a broader plan to improve access to basic services and turn the economy around. The delays in tabling the budget and voting in favour of it means from August, government will only be able to spend 10% of the previous year's appropriation budget per month. Deputy Finance Minister David Masondo.
Our estimation is that by October 2025, the government will be without authority when we reach 100% of last year's appropriation.
He says the cost to service delivery is insurmountable.
It is the most vulnerable members of our society who will suffer most.
The EFF and MK party are expected to vote against the appropriation bill, while the ANC and DA MPs are expected to vote in favour of it. Nogukhainga Mdambo, Eyewitness News in Cape Town.
In the courts now, it has emerged that the man arrested in connection with the murder of a senior forensic auditor in the city of Ekurhuleni is also facing a separate murder charge. Tabani Goodwill Njalinjali appeared in the Kempton Park Magistrates Court today in connection to the murder of Mpho Mafole. Mafole was shot last month on the R23 highway while driving home from a work-related meeting. His attorney, Sibusiso Dlamini, has confirmed that Njalinjali is currently out on bail for a different murder case.
Currently having a pending case in this court. It is scheduled on the 12th of August for trial. For the sake of brevity and moving forward, I do confirm that the bail application in this matter will fall within the ambit of Schedule 6, so the state can dispense with the certificate thereof.
The case has now been postponed to the 15th of next month. Former Chief Justice Raymond Zondo says restoring public confidence in the National Prosecuting Authority hinges on transparency. Speaking at an anti-corruption conference hosted by the South African Council of Churches, Zondo urged the NPA to explain controversial decisions, especially when dropping charges against high-profile individuals. The gathering brings together high-profile officials and thought leaders to discuss practical ways to combat corruption. Zondo urged the NPA to explain its decisions, warning that silence fuels suspicion.
The NPA is critically important in the fight against corruption. We cannot afford to have a weak NPA. When they say they are withdrawing charges and we are not told why, and that does not help them, because we are not going to know if the withdrawal of charges has something to do with corruption.
He has also welcomed President Cyril Ramaphosa's plan to strengthen the judiciary's independence, saying this too will bolster the fight against corruption.
Let us also have the same power to control our operations. And in that way, society is able to confront us when we do not do well. Without an independent judiciary, including institutional independence, our fight against corruption is weakened.
The Competition Commission has welcomed the Competition Tribunal's conditional approval of a merger between the Canal Group and MultiChoice. Canal Group is a French media company responsible for the production, commissioning and supply of TV content to broadcasters in South Africa. The Commission has recommended the tribunal approve the more than 30 billion rand deal subject to certain conditions. Spokesperson Siyabulela Makunga says some of the conditions include commitments to ensuring ensuring no retrenchments for 3 years.
But also supplier development of over 3 years with focus on expenditure on local content and procurement for SMMEs as well as historically disadvantaged persons, as well as the licensing of international sporting events in which South African national teams or individuals representing South Africa take part to free-to-air broadcasters.
And in Japan, Kansai Electrical Power has announced the start of research aimed at constructing a new nuclear reactor at its Mihama power plant. The plant, located in the west of the country, will replace the existing facility. The research will focus on topography, geology, and will include communication with local residents. This is the country's first concrete step towards building a new nuclear reactor since the Great East Japan earthquake in 2011. That disaster triggered a meltdown at Tokyo Electric Power's Fukushima plant, leading to it being shut down. Gold is trading at $3,463.28 an ounce. The rand is at 17.54 to the dollar, 23.75 to the pound, 20.58 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $68.59 a barrel.
Leaving the Joburg CBD heading towards Germiston, there's an accident seen on the M2 eastbound. That's approaching Heidelberg Road, causing heavy delays all the way from the Crown interchange. Otherwise, the rest of 702 land not looking too bad. Just look out for those faulty traffic lights in Edenvale, Modderfontein Road and Van Riebeck, as well as in Randburg at Mahogany and Malibongo Drive.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 17 and 18 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, Deputy Finance Minister and ANC MP David Masondo says political squabbling over the budget will come at a high price for service delivery.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. Let's talk.
We're listening. 702.
Live
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856
92.7
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Seven minutes past 2, you're listening to Kabazela, standing in for Relebogile Mabotja this afternoon and for the rest of the week. How is your day going so far? Are you listening to us in the office? Are you in the car, driving between appointments, or maybe you're lucky enough to be heading home, or maybe from school you picked up the kids because I know they went back to school yesterday or today, if I'm not mistaken. But let us know how your day is going. Listening to the news there with Mbali. I see Deputy Finance Minister David Masondo says political squabbling over the budget will come at a higher price for service delivery. A politician that cares about us. Do they really care about us? Or are they all just power hungry?
702
Masterclass.
So, in today's masterclass, we often think of design as how something looks, but what if design could make your home healthier, your bills cheaper, you sleep deeper, and even reduce your carbon footprint? So today we're diving into the world of sustainable design for better living. It's not just about solar panels and recycled wood. It's about designing homes, buildings, and spaces that are smarter, cleaner, and more in tune with how we want to live now and in the future. So I'd like to ask you a couple of questions. What small change have you made in your home or lifestyle that's made a big difference to your comfort, your bills, or your environment? Anything that you can think of. 072 702 1702. Send us your voice notes or phone calls on 011 883 0702. I'd love to get your thoughts on that one. And the masterclass lines are always open. So really, please interact and give us a call and ask your questions, or if you got any comments, because I can ask the questions, but I think you've got much more interesting questions that I have. And this masterclass with Relebogile Mabotja, or Kabazela, is brought to you by Decorex Joburg, Africa's premier decor and design Expo. And joining me now in studio is my guest, Kekeletso Tisolani, co-founder and director of Ramtsilo Trading. How are you doing, Kekeletso, and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
So Ramtsilo Trading, what is Ramtsilo Trading all about? What do you guys do there?
Sure. So Ramtsilo Trading is a manufacturing company. We manufacture eco-friendly bricks that are made out of waste material. One of the waste material is plastic. So we use plastic, your traditional sweet wrappers, bread wrappers, anything plastic that's recyclable and also that's not recyclable except for PVC. And we also use waste material from our foundries, our mines as well. So the brick is made out of 90% waste material. It's a plug-and-play situation, so it still looks like a normal cement brick. You still use it with the same mortar, cement, you plaster over it, you still cut and chase it the normal way. It just has a lot of added benefits, like your strength, your thermal ratings, your insulation properties as well.
Oh, wow. Can I see you've brought a brick in for us, yeah?
Yes.
Pick it up there. I want to see if you can do a couple of bicep curls.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. So, I mean, is it heavy as a normal brick, or is it a little bit lighter?
Sure. So with bricks, there's something called the compressive strength, which is your MPa. So it's how strong your brick must be for a building, right? So we use 7 MPa for your single layer boundary walls or your houses, and your double and triple high is 10 MPa. So how heavy is the brick is the strength of the brick. So we have from 7 MPa all the way to 21 MPa. Meaning you can build your double-story units and higher, you can build on your wetlands, you can build on mountains, but those bricks are normally specified by your architect. They are able to withstand different temperatures, different conditions, so they are stronger and they are heavier. Then our lightest, in terms of weight, we still 2 kg, 2.5, and the max we can do is 3 kilograms. But ours, what counts is the MPa, the strength of the bricks.
Okay. What about the cost of these bricks? Are they, cost effective in terms of the traditional bricks, or a little bit more expensive?
So they're very cost effective. So, like I mentioned, we wanted a plug and play situation. Yeah. So we wanted, because when people think eco-friendly, they're thinking it's expensive, it's innovation, it's something that I have to learn, it's something that I have to now bump into, not something that I'm used to already. So we've made it plug and play, even in terms of our costing. That's why we make sure that 90% of the materials that we use is waste material. So it's like a plastic waste that we get from our trolley men and women as well. So it's competitively priced. So you can get it more or less the same pricing, depending on where you get it, the same pricing for your normal 7 MPa cement stock bricks.
Okay, and in terms of the uptake, or a lot of new builds where maybe architects are, designing and planning, are they looking at these sustainable bricks?
Sure, you'll be very amazed at how OCD people are in terms of the building material. Yeah. We have contractors that come and demand the brick because of the dimension and the strength of the brick and the squareness of the brick. So more people are aware of the type of material that they're using, and more people are conscious of the eco-friendly material that they're using in their homes, in their schools, in their building as well. So it has a huge uptake. It's already available in your stores like your Leroy Merlin stores that are receiving it well. And the educational is a consistent thing. We always have to educate people around it. And it helps that it has the same look and feel as a cement brick. It's still used the same way. So it's not something that needs additional training, but it's something that has more added benefits like your thermal rating, your insulation ratings, because of plastic, something that we consider as waste, but for us it's a bonus for us.
So, I mean, a lot of South African homes are cold in winter. Homes are really not built for our Joburg winters. Mm-hmm. So you're saying using those kind of bricks is, in terms of insulation, it can keep the home a little bit warmer than traditional bricks?
That's correct. So it's called a thermal rating. So when you are making bricks or making any building material, you test the bricks. So you test it for your strength, your water absorption and stuff like that. Because it's an innovation, we actually had to test it through more vigorous testing. And one of them was your thermal testing, meaning that it helps, though in winter it helps keep it warm, and then in summer it helps keep it cool as well. So it's an added benefit that can help us immensely, because sometimes, and growing up I used to feel it, but I didn't know what it is. Sometimes you just go into a home and it's warm, and there's no heater, and you're asking yourself, why does it feel different to the neighbor, which is very cold? It feels like you're in a fridge.
Yeah.
But it's because of properties like this. It's because of thermal ratings that people have. It's because of using conscious material to build your house, to build your infrastructure. So that benefits, and even our electricity bill, it might not seem like it's something that you see instantly, but having that ability to stay in a warmer home saves on the electricity bill in the long run.
Yeah. Question coming through here on our WhatsApp line, 072 702 1702. Having made the bricks out of plastic, how flammable are they in case of a fire? So are they fire resistant?
Sure. So one of the tests that we have to do is a fire rating. So the tests are done through SABS, or if it's a new development product, it's done through Agreement South Africa. They test your fire rating. So your fire rating means how long does it get to be damaged by a fire. So we do have a high thermal rating as well, and it's certified. It's certified. So that's one of the biggest one. And people thought plastic and bricks, that's one of the biggest alert that we had to make sure that we fix.
Wow, okay, that's looking at the eco bricks. But let's get now back into the masterclass and sort of maybe take it a step back.
Sure.
When somebody says sustainable design, what actually does that mean in everyday language? What is sustainable design?
So sustainable design is designing with a conscious, designing your building not just for your occupants, but also the structure of the building, thinking about long-term eco-friendly materials that you use to build your building. So thinking about using more eco-friendly ways to insulate your building instead of the asbestos that we are used to. Thinking about more eco-friendly bricks with building rather than or clay bricks, for example, with building rather than your normal one. Thinking about solar systems, solar panels, even solar panels that heat up your water as well. It's all picking your building blocks consciously, keep it building for the future, building for sustainability.
Okay, all right. So if you are listening in your car or at home and you have applied some of this sustainable design to your home, what have you done? What are some of the sustainable design elements that you've incorporated into your home? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that one. 072 702 1702. Let's get into the insulation, right? So if you look at new builds today, you said maybe asbestos was used maybe in the past, and there's some other ways in terms of insulation and more environmentally friendly insulation. So what, in terms of new builds, are on the market that people are using to make the homes warmer in winter and cooler in the summer?
Sure. So we actually have a diverse product, especially in South Africa. More people are using your hemp products that are great insulating material. More people are using your bamboo for building, for the timber and stuff like that. So it's all those small changes that we've essentially been using slowly but surely. But now it's learning the impact of it, learning that hemp, as we knew it, was something else. We never thought hemp would actually be a brick that we're using, a brick that's sustainable, a brick that has a lot of benefits. So starting off with your normal, being conscious of the kind of timber that you buy and where you buy it from as well is also important.
And who's driving it? Is it coming from people who are building new homes, or is it being pushed from the architect side, the builder side, to say, well, why don't you look at this as an option? Or are you seeing that people are so much more educated when it comes to these things that they're asking from the bottom up?
Yeah, I think it goes both ways. The education, I think, will always be higher in terms of the professionals like our architects and stuff. But people are becoming conscious of what they are buying. People are becoming more aware of the type of things that they're buying. And people are passionate about where it comes from, the life of it. So people are also starting to ask the right questions. People are also starting to do the right research. So people also are aware of the type of materials that they want, but the education still comes from the professionals. The education still comes from companies like us who help educate people and teach people and make it a product that's easily plug and play and doesn't need any innovation or any special adhesive to use it. But the public is very aware of the type of building materials they want. They're very aware of sustainability. I mean, we have instances of water scarcity that's becoming a reality. More people are conscious of that. More people are teaching their children to close the tap while you're brushing your teeth. So more people are aware of it, and it's a huge change that we need, and we can never have enough, you know.
Okay, if you just joined us, we're doing a masterclass on sustainability and design with my guest. Her name is Kikeletso Tesolwani, co-founder and director of Ramtsilo Trading. So if you've got any questions or comments for us, please do let us know, 072 702 1702, or maybe you can let us know what you've done in your home. Maybe you've used bamboo flooring, perhaps. Maybe you're looking at different ways of insulating your house, and particularly old houses. What are some of the sustainable things that you've done in that home to change the old ways, so to speak? Let's take a break. We'll be back after this.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
Advocate Dion Poole, what was the complaint against Advocate Chauke by Advocate Shamila Batoy?
Advocate Chauke allegedly delayed or declined to prosecute Richard Ndluli for a murder related to the 1999 death. There was an instance where there was apparent reluctance on his part to prosecute Duzane Zuma for the culpable homicide, and then he withdrew corruption charges against Zizi Kodwa and Jahan McKay.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
The South African Future Trust Awards are returning, made possible through funding by Oppenheimer Generations. The 3 million rand in prizes recognize top entrepreneurs across the following 6 categories: top tech entrepreneur, top social entrepreneur, top youth entrepreneur, top woman in business, most innovative idea, optimized operating model, impact award. Entries close on the 31st of July. Submit your application now at www.awards.southafricanfuturetrust.org. Winners will be announced at the 2025 South African Future Trust Summit, taking place in November at the Sandton Convention Centre. Limited early bird tickets are available for 900 Rand. Get yours now in partnership with 702.
Food Lovers Market's famous Winter Carnival is almost here, and it's going to be bigger than ever. This winter, we're bringing you the biggest deals of the season on everything you need, from fresh to butchery to all your pantry essentials, and so much more. Don't miss out on amazing value. Food Lovers Market Winter Carnival, valid from Thursday 24 July to Sunday 3 August. Visit our website and follow us on social media for more.
Dreaming of your next getaway? Whether it's a sun-soaked beach escape, adventure-packed tour, or luxury cruise, Flight Centre is your go-to for travel. From flights and hotels to tours and cruises, we've got it all. Plus travel insurance for peace of mind. If you want the best deals, you can save more by taking advantage of our Bundle Plus Save offer. Plan your trip today at your nearest Flight Centre store or visit flightcentre.co.za. Flight Centre, your centre for travel.
Herschel Gibbs here, with more than just a crypto ad. Crypto payments are now live on 10bet, and there's more. Download the app, deposit, and get an extra 5% in cash. The future of betting, faster, safer, and smoother. Play now at 10bet.co.za. 10bet is a licensed betting operator and supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 shall be permitted to bet. Betting can be addictive. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
A twist I just did not see coming in the Fly Safair strike saga. Confirmation that SAA is going to help run Fly Safair flights between Cape Town and Durban.
SAA is on the market to look for extra cash wherever they can get it. If they can find anywhere that hope to make money out of, they will do anything possible. Now, this is an opportunity for them.
Potejo Mochapele is an aviation expert.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Curtis is brought to you by Absa Corporate and Investment Bank, a leading Pan-African bank and proud sponsor of the African Blockchain Report 2024. Absa is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
702.
Masterclass.
24 minutes past 2, you're listening to Kabazela this afternoon, and in our masterclass, we are talking about sustainable design for better living. And my guest is Kekeletso Tsiluani. She's the co-founder and director of Ramtsilo Trading. So I wanted to ask one question. So if money was no object, what's one sustainable feature that you'd love to have in your home right now? I'd love to hear those on 072 702 1702. So, Kekeletso, in terms of sustainable changes, right, what is some of the easiest sustainable changes that we can make in our lives today that don't cost a fortune? Because a lot of the time when people say sustainable this, sustainable that, green this, green that, it always kind of, you see dollar bills ringing in my ears. So talk us through that.
Sure. So there's a lot of sustainability or the green economy we can tap into. For instance, something so small is recycling from home. So we call it recycling from source. So you separate your plastics, your glass, and you give it to either those truly men and women, or you just take it to your respective, like your impacts or whatever, that recycle the glass. And then also saving water. We already have these new innovative taps that help us to use water in a sparingly manner, that help us to use water in a good and efficient manner. They help us to reduce the amount of water we flush. There's already systems that are built in it as well. And our solar panels. We had our low-cost housing that we were doing when I was still in a construction company, and they were using solar panels to heat the water. So I think a lot of people think about green as if it's something that we're not used to doing. We recycle a lot in our spaces, and even when I was growing up, my father used our laundry water for gardening. We make compost out of trees and leaves. So recycling is something, or going green is something that we can start today. It doesn't necessarily need a high investment like your inverters or your solar panels, but going green and being more conscious of where you get your products from. Sourcing locally as well, where we'll cut down on transportation and pollution and stuff like that. So it's everyday steps that we already are taking, but we're not conscious that this is a greener method of living. We're not conscious. For example, I don't think people realize the impact of these trolley men and women that have on the ecosystem. These people help us to clean the environment, and it's ensuring a sustainable supply of money for them as well. But they help us to reduce landfill space, which we need. We need landfills to be space for parks, for recreational use, for vegetation, for planting. We already have a lot of plants and vegetables that we're growing in schools, teaching people about farming, teaching people about greener ways of planting. We're already doing so much that we might not think is a big deal, but it's contributing, because 1% of this action is better than nothing, because we've done a lot, like with pollution and how we litter, how easy we litter, just educating people on the perks of just using your bins correctly, separating your source from home, so being conscious of those things. It's activities that we can do right now, which we are conscious about, but we don't really take as green or recycling or the green atmosphere space.
Yeah. So you were talking about recycling at source, so that's in the home.
Yes.
So if you look at some of the designs of kitchens, they'll have, the bins that are designed to be put away in a cupboard, so you can't see them, right? So you pull out the cupboard, and then there's the bin there. But generally, there's like space for one bin. So it means it's space for only one kind of rubbish that goes in there. So if you are stuck with that kind of design in your kitchen, what are some of the ways to make design, so separating the plastics from the general rubbish, a little bit easier for people at home?
Sure. I think it's starting with the small stuff that, for instance, let's take your glass, where you can just start rinsing it and just putting it in a corner instead of putting it in the bin, or having a separate sourcing or plastic for your milk bottles that it can also be cleaned and you sort of separate it as well. Or just being conscious and saying, I will just work on separating, whether it's using maybe those small checkers in the bin where you have two instead of one. It's innovative methods like that we need to be more conscious about, and it's already things that we can start doing if we just have the education for.
Okay, and in terms of the sustainable design, are are people wanting to do this? So in terms of developers, are developers jumping on this trend? Are they doing, sustainable design in their, let's call it, apartments and stuff like that? Or are they jumping on board and big into this? Or is it still the old thing because it's cheaper?
Yeah, I think more people are aware of it, more professionals are aware of it, and it also helps that we have green points in South Africa as well that you get for your green buildings as well. So our developers are aware of it, and we actually have high ratings. There's I think it's a hotel in Cape Town that has a 5-star rating of green buildings. We're already aware of the perks of the sun that we get. More architects are building towards it, capturing that, using more glass, using more eco-friendly material that absorb the heat, so we are aware of it, we are using it, and the public and professionals are using it immensely, and we are often getting the education on what it means and the growth of sustainability and how it comes in different ways, whether it's just harvesting the sun that we use, wind that we have, water that we have. So they are very aware of it, and they are implementing it today, and even South Africa as a country is helping with the green points as well.
Okay, if you just joined us, it's our masterclass, and we're talking sustainable design for better living. And my guest, Kekeletso Tisulani, she's the co-founder and director of Ramtsilo Trading. More after the news, but right now, 2:30 and time for EWN Headlines with Mbali Dlamini.
Thanks, Jonathan. Good afternoon. The two biggest opposition parties, the MK Party and EFF, say they will not be voting in support of the appropriation bill, calling it anti-poor. The National Assembly has been debating the bill today, which appropriates money to all government departments. The bill is the last hurdle in the contentious budget process, which has taken longer than usual due to infighting within the Government of National Unity. The judge in the Senzo Meyiwa trial has ordered that one of the accused be moved from the Kgoshi Mampuru prison, allowing him to choose which centre he wants to be held at. Proceedings in the Pretoria High Court were delayed today after 3 of the accused were late to arrive. The court heard that this was because one of the 5 accused, Fisoguhle Ntuli, refused to leave his cell, claiming he has been tortured overnight. And there have been some heated moments during proceedings in the Roodepoort Magistrates Court today as Tiffany Nicole Meek's lawyer tries to poke holes in the testimony of a state witness. Meek is accused of murdering her 11-year-old son, Jaden Lee Meek. He was discovered in the Vleehof complex a day after his mother had reported him missing in May. Those are the headlines, this EWN and more at 3 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, some good news. That accident scene in the Joburg CBD area has been cleared. That's on the M2 westbound. Approaching Heidelberg Road, traffic should be back to normal shortly. There's also, however, slow-moving traffic. This is traveling through the Melrose area, heading towards the Joburg CBD. That's the M1 southbound between Ethel Oaklands and Killarney Bends. There's faulty traffic lights in the Edenville area, Modderfontein Road and Van Riebeck. Traffic lights still not working in 4 ways at Cedar and Uranium, as well as in North Riding at Malibongwe Drive and CR Swart. If you come across any other traffic issues, please SMS us on 31702. We are also on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
702.
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
So if you want to win a set of double tickets to Decorex Joburg, this is what I want you to do. I'm going to ask you a very, very, very simple question like we did yesterday, and it's with regards to the Decorex theme. So here's the question, what is Decorex Africa's theme for this year? What is Decorex Africa's theme for this year? If you have the answer, you can send us a WhatsApp on 072 702 1702 send your answer to that, and we'll give you a call. Pashida will give you a call, and if you're lucky, you'll win double tickets to Decorex Joburg this year.
702 delivers
on the matters that matter to you.
I'm Nathan Ilunga. I'm Congolese, and one thing I love about 702 is the open line on Clement Manetela show and the Healing Hour. Overall, what I like most about the station is the different topic they cover. They broaden your mind and push you to think they help you to become a critical thinker. So that's why I listen to 702.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
So we can deliver more on what matters to you.
702 listens.
Let's walk the talk.
This year, the Private Security Industry Regulatory Authority, also known as CIRA, is proud to be partnered with 702 Walk the Talk. Look out for the CIRA activation at the finish point if you want to chat about how they contribute to safer communities. CIRA is also actively vetting all contracted private security companies involved in the walk, so you get to the finish line safely and confidently. CIRA, your partner in security and safety at 702 Walk the Talk. Safer homes, safer communities, safer businesses.
The new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7, our thinnest, lightest, and most powerful foldable yet. Open up your world to an ultra-immersive full view of the expansive screen and move effortlessly with its ultra-sleek and ultra-slim design. Pre-order now and double up your storage. 512 gigabytes for the price of 256 gigabytes. Offer valid until 31 July 2025. Join the Unfold Club with the new Galaxy Z Fold 7. T's and C's apply.
Your office is more than just a place to work. It's a reflection of your success. At Desk and Chair, we help you elevate your workspace with locally manufactured desks and a wide range of chairs to suit your style and budget. Our expert consultants are with you every step of the way, from planning to delivery and assembly. Visit our showroom in Midrand or shop online at deskandchair.co.za. Desk and Chair. Think, feel, work better.
At the heart of global conversations shaping our future, Africa's voice is more important than ever. As proud lead sponsor of the B20, the Standard Bank Group is honored to showcase the continent's growth, partnerships, and potential on the world stage. Because driving Africa's growth isn't just our ambition, it's our purpose. Tune in every Monday from 3 p.m. for the Standard Bank B20 In Brief for key insights and updates around the B20. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Coming up
on 702 Drive with John Perlman.
John Perlman's just walked into the studio, and I don't know if you maybe caught the beginning of the show, John, but we were talking about people who want to plan every element of their funeral. And I know you've got your songs picked for when that day happens, but I mean, planning everything from A to B, what do you think of that? Is it control freak much, or like each to their own?
I've got a different view on that. I think that when someone dies, there's so much grief and turmoil and so on. And I think there's this kind of a sweet spot because people want to be busy and they want to be involved because that's a way of just coping with the pain that they're going through. But I think the flip side of it, particularly when you have some kind of contestation in families, and it doesn't have to be serious or about money, but people saying, no, but mom wouldn't have wanted that, or, you know, your father never liked roses, and say, he loved roses, and that stuff can get quite intense.
Yeah.
So I would go for more planning than less, particularly on things that are going to cost money, like maybe whether there's going to be catering, if so, on what scale, and crucially, who's going to speak. I think you must be absolutely clear because people say, oh, Jonathan loved Uncle whatever. Yeah. And actually, maybe you didn't. Or maybe you didn't love him in the way where you wanted him to speak. So do you want some speakers, no speakers, any speakers? Do you want people from your workplace to be there? All the stuff that you think has got the potential to add grit to people's already difficult emotional state. I think you should be clear on, and as clear as possible. Last thing I'll say is I found that as I reflect on these things and put the details down, I quite enjoy it in a funny way because I feel, I'm taking stock and measure of what matters in my life and crucially who matters.
Yeah.
So
okay, well put.
I'm a one for planning. Of course, you're not going to be there to enjoy it, which is a big shame.
Yeah.
You think, damn, this is looking good, man.
Yeah, well, speaking of planning, what's coming up on the show this afternoon?
Coming up on the show, and good afternoon to all the listeners. The first court appearance of the person who is being charged with the murder of the Ekurhuleni auditor, Mpho Mafole, but we're going to talk particularly background with Alpha Ramoshwana, our EWN colleague, because he's been right on top of this story from the beginning, before it was even a story, actually. He was digging into financial malfeasance at that metro. So he's with us just after 3. The SACC, South African Council of Churches, Southern African Council of Churches, I think, is having a conference on corruption. And, it's been said earlier, I think Mandy was making the point, seriously, another conference on corruption. But I think this one for me is very interesting, because obviously they're going to be looking at morality and ethics and religion. And, I'm really interested in what their take is on this incredibly pervasive level of immorality in our society. Like, what's religion's role in trying to push that back and start establishing a better moral code? So we'll do that after 4 o'clock. JSE at record highs at a time when the economy, not quite at record lows, but when gloominess about the economy, I think it's fair to say, is very, very pronounced and widespread. And so we're going to talk to Dr. Iraj Abidian. When the markets go through the roof, as the JSE did today, into record territory, over 100,000 for the first time ever, why is there such a disjuncture between that and the lived reality of so many people who can't find work and can't make ends meet? We'll talk about that after 5.
Lovely, interesting stuff there. That's John Pillman on your radio between 3 and 6, driving you home.
702
Masterclass.
So before we get back into the masterclass, I did mention those Decorex tickets are up for grabs. And the question was, what is Decorex Africa's theme for this year? And I see Sadia from Mondio was the quickest one through on the WhatsApp line. Afternoon to you, Sadia. Are you well?
I'm well, and you, Jono?
I'm very good, thank you. Are you a big fan of design and decor and trends?
Absolutely. I'm so excited right now because now my husband's got to take me.
Okay, well, if maybe you can take him, because you're going to be the owner of the tickets, hopefully, if you get the answer correct. Okay, so what is Decorex Africa's theme for this year?
It's the future of living.
Let me just check and consult with the judges here. I will. Is it a thumbs up? I got one thumbs up. Yes, Sadia.
Awesome.
Those tickets are for you. The future of living is the theme for Decorex Africa this year. So congratulations, Sadia. You've won double tickets to Decorex Joburg, being held at the Sandton Convention Centre from the 24th to the 27th of July 2025. So keep listening to this show for the whole week for your chance to win double tickets to Decorex Joburg. Well done, Sadia. Our team will be in touch with you and arrange all the details for the delivery of the tickets.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
702
Masterclass.
Masterclass on sustainable design, and I'm joined by Kikeletso Tisolani. She is the co-founder of the company Ramtsilo Trading, which is a real interesting company. And a lot of people are fascinated by that plastic brick you were talking about. So, I mean, for those people who are watching us on YouTube and streaming the show, just hold up that brick again, so nice and close to the cameras. I mean, it looks very light. It's grey in design, and it's made completely of recycled plastics.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's got all the approvals, SABS, from insulation to the weight bearing issues, etc., etc. So yeah, fascinating. I mean, a lot of people are asking, let's go to like the Stain City design homes. Are they using those kind of bricks, for instance, or is it mostly your traditional clay bricks and the likes?
I think the one that's popular was the clay bricks. That was the first eco-friendly bricks that were introduced before we came into the market around 2019. So that is what's mostly commonly used. But they have their perks, but they also have their downsides. So more people are getting aware of different bricks as well, different sources of making the bricks as well, and different benefits of the bricks as well. So more people are receptive of the product. I think, like I was saying, when people think plastic and bricks, they don't think it's a solid product. So we kind of wanted to use a lot of eco-friendly material. We still wanted it to have the same look and feel as a normal brick, and it must also have the same strength as a normal brick as well. So more people are using it from your suburbs. We've donated a classroom with Breadline Africa in the Val that use the building as well. There's numerous buildings that are being done. It's just that we're not a contractor, so some of the companies or buildings that are done are through people buying it from your Leroy Merlin or your Builders Warehouse stores. But people are using it, people are receiving it properly, people are liking the product. People also see the difference. If you make a brick, for example, we try to make it from your 3 kg to 2.5 kilograms to make it a bit lighter. That's an added benefit that people actually like, that builders actually like, because it's lighter. Because as you know, when they're building, they're sometimes throwing it, when they're offloading. So small things like that play a huge role in your product, in how people receive your product as well. So I guess it's educational through all profs, whether it's your Steinhoff or your location houses that are being built. But it's very receptive.
Okay,
it's doing very well.
So, I mean, sustainable design. So if we talk about one of the things that you see at a lot of places you go now these days, from office parks to private residences or even blocks of flats, is the big JoJo tanks and the storage for water. And that's purely because of the infrastructure in Johannesburg and lack of water being shut down, but also sustainability, right? So harvesting maybe the grey water, etc., etc. In terms of design and making these greener things look prettier, what can one do to, if they've installed the JoJo tank at their home, rather than just having this ugly tank that's there in the front of your home or in the corner of your house, what can one do to maybe beautify that and look really, really nice?
Sure. I think it's in how and where you put the JoJo tank. If you put it in a more central or in a garden space where you make it work with your infrastructure. Like, for instance, on our plant, we also have JoJo tanks that we use. We harvest the rainwater. So it works, actually looks super cool because it's right next to a cement silo. So using it, I've seen a home where they've put it right next to vegetation. So it sort of looks like it's giving the plants life. It's in what you do with it as well. And I think the important thing about innovation is understanding the impact that it has. It is understanding we were all faced with water scarcity, something that not a lot of us thought we would have as a now problem, where we had places that didn't have water. So saving water as best as you can, as efficient, the best way possible as well is prime. People use water tanks or grey water harvesting even for farming. There's people that only use green ways for farming, and that's something that we thought, okay, with farming you need a lot of water. If you can harvest that and use that, it's cheaper as well than the electricity bill, and I don't think anybody can compare beautifying versus that bill. We all know, it's increasing as well. So would you want something that looks good, or would you want something that looks good and feels good?
Okay, and then let's go back into the home. So if you've insulated the ceilings and you're now inside the home, what are some of the ways, or the sustainable ways, that one can make the home warmer without the use of heaters, fireplaces, etc.? What are some of the little things that you can do? Maybe windows, the gaps between the doors, all that kind of stuff.
Yes. So it's in that direction that your windows, for example, are. Are they facing the north, which is mostly where the sun comes from in South Africa? It's using insulation materials. So we have a lot of those what was asbestos material that are insulating materials as well. It's in the boundary walls that you use as well. There's more insulated material, and the type of timber that you use as well. There are more insulated material that we can use as well in our homes that can help us and benefit us. But I think just to expand a bit on the perks of sustainability, sustainability goes as far as just your homes as well. We have art that's also being used in a sustainable way. We have artists that are using glass to make paintings. We have artists that are using a lipstick to make paintings. So there are innovative ways that we don't think about. So sustainability is not all that boring. It can expand into different fields as well.
Yes.
We have a lot of fashion as well. More people are thrifting clothes. More people are upcycling and giving it a second life. So sustainability is an all-round life principle that we can have in our specific homes, also in schools, but also in our fashion as well, in how we think and how we live life as well.
Okay, we'll come back to the fashion side of things. Let's take a call. Salati from Johannesburg. How are you doing, Salati?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. You've got an idea, a suggestion for the JoJo tanks.
Yes. So, if you can afford, before I digress, before I give them an answer, if you can afford to get water tanks that are like silver looking, you know, like your aluminum, not aluminum, but anyway, there's better than plastic. You can use steel. You can plant some viburnum. You can plant some viburnum, which grows very quickly. You need to only water it a few times just before it grows high, and then you can trim it, and that way it hedges off. You can plant some beautiful bamboo plants, you know, like from Kung Fu Panda, what he uses to jump.
Yeah.
You can use that and screen it beautifully. You can also use some sort of cladding, open in the streets, depending on the ERIC rules of your estate, wherever you live, or, you know, your bylaws of the you know, wherever you live. You can go, there's lots of people who are selling reeds that you can use to screen the water tanks as well. So there's plenty ways to do that, as opposed to you seeing a very green, dull, grey, yellow color.
Yes. Okay. I mean, lovely suggestions. Do you love spending time in your garden and pottering around? How do you know all this giving all this advice?
I'm an interior architect by profession.
Oh, brilliant.
So I'm enjoying what you're talking about, and I've got very green hands. So I love combining bifolic design and using sustainable material and recycling and upcycling, and what you're talking about is absolutely gorgeous. So that's why I say, in order to have a good quality of life, you don't have to spend if you don't have the money. Just use what you've got and make it look nice. That's the beauty of art and design.
Brilliant. Salati, thanks so much for the call. I really, really appreciate that. 072 702 1702 or 011 883 0702.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
Is there one item that you buy on a regular basis that you've noticed has just rocketed in terms of the price and inflation?
We pay VAT on water and electricity. I mean, this is a basic need of every South African, and we're paying value-added tax on it. It's absolutely ridiculous to think that nobody cares and nobody does anything about it. If they want to play politics, they should take VAT away from electricity and water.
The Midday Report
With Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
Everyone knows health emergencies can pop up when you least expect it. And they come with big bills. But with a Visa F&B credit card, you have a resource that helps you manage those costs. Tap into the health budget facility that lets you move your medical expenses into a flexible, easy-to-manage payment plan so you can focus on what really matters, getting better, because peace of mind is priceless. Apply for a Visa F&B credit card online or visit your nearest branch today. Help changes everything. T's and C's apply. Credit is subject to meeting the qualifying criteria. F&B is a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
We plan for vacations, retirement, and even tonight's dinner. But do we plan for our health? It's how we protect our family's future. So who are you staying healthy for? And how can you protect their future? Choose Dis-Chem Life, the life cover that helps you live a healthier, more rewarding life with health checks and extra rewards. Visit dischemlife.co.za now. Dis-Chem Life. Choose a better partner for life. Dis-Chem Life is an authorized FSP 50594, underwritten by Guardrisk Life, a licensed life insurer, FSP 76. T's and C's apply.
Shame. Do you have a sore throat? The Andalex range of lozenges offers two options. At the first signs of an irritated, scratchy throat, use Andalex lozenges for dual action, soothing relief. But for a painful, inflamed throat, use Andalex C lozenges for triple action, pain relief. Andalex, SA's #1 choice for a sore mouth and throat. Andalex lozenges are available at all leading pharmacies and supermarkets.
Just Andalex it.
702.
Masterclass.
7 minutes to 3, Kabazela listening on your radio in for Relebogile this afternoon. And in our masterclass, we are chatting about the sustainable design for better living. And my guest is Kekeletso Chishulani, co-founder and director of Ramtsilo Trading. Now, Kekeletso, let's look at people who maybe are renting, right? So they may only be there for 2 years, 6 months, a year's lease, whatever it is. What are some of the things that they can implement in the home to help with sustainability in terms of heating, water consumption, all that kind of stuff?
Sure. So in terms of heating, there's, like I was saying, there's more products that are great products as well that are helping with eco-friendly building material or even eco-friendly ways of using it. There's LED lights that we can use that are a new thing, that are bright, that are working. We've got those magneto lights that we're all using during load shedding as well.
Yes, those were our best friends at some stage.
Definitely. So there's more fancier ways. There's ones that you can have as a line. There's ones that people actually have on their study table. They have those as well. So it's small things that we can do. And also just recycling as well. Recycling and even recycling your food waste as well to make compost as well. It's small steps that we can take.
Even if you are in an apartment, where would you take your scraps? What are you going to do with the scraps?
For me, I was raised in a way where we don't have scraps in food. So my parents were all, if you're cooking and you have waste, you use that as well.
Yeah.
We've actually, even as my sister and I actually make sweet potatoes, and then we make sweet potato fries with what's left over.
Yeah.
So we essentially make use of everything else. And there's a lot of waste pickers as well that we can donate to these kind of things too, that we can donate the bottles to, that we can, because I don't think they also want to be scrambling in our bins and going through all of that. So making it cleaner, making it quicker for them as well, because the more waste that they collect, easily just picking up the plastics or the bags, because they collect plastic, glass, cardboard, paper, whatever that you can think about. They collect. You don't even have to go far for them. You just put it in there and they can use it as well. So those are more ways that we can do. That is something that you can start implementing today as well.
I wonder if any complexes where there's apartments and flats, if they've got like a compost heap that people can take their food or the garden stuff and dump. I mean, that would be a really interesting thing to find out from our listeners if such a thing is, or if any estates have made space for that. But there's so much more to talk about here. So what are some of the biggest trends that you see on a daily basis when it comes to sustainability and design?
Sure. Sustainability is people are more conscious about the waste, so clearing up our landfills for once. When I started in my industry, I first spoke to people by the landfill to understand what do they do, what motivates them to wake up and go there. And I learned a lot. Like, I learned about plastic waste. There's different types of plastic waste as well. There's scrap metals that are making products, and they use scrap, and that's an eco-friendly industry that anybody can take or use. There's e-commerce. There's even stations. I think there was a station at Shaw, if I'm not wrong, where you can drop your papers, or you can drop your bottles and you'll get a voucher. So there's a lot of innovative ways that we're using, and also more fashion as well, like I was saying. So I take up a whole lot of eco-friendly ways or upcycling ways. So I like learning and how we can give life to waste. So I'm being more conscious on people recycling the type of material, people making jean clothes that have different types of jeans in a jacket. So more people are becoming so conscious of it as well in their everyday lives as well, and also teaching it in schools. We have school drives where we actually educate our children as well on recycling and the perks of recycling and how it can be a revenue stream and how it can even be a company and how you can make innovative products. We've had children make mats out of sweet wrappers as well that we are using. We've had cultures that use tires to make shoes that has been something that we all grew up with using. We use our orange bag as scrubs, you know.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of diverse ways that people are recycling, and people are being conscious about it as well.
Lovely, lovely. So much more to chat about. But if people want to get hold of you, where can they go? What website is best to go to?
Sure. So we have a website. It's www.ramzilo.com. We also have our email, which is info@ramzilo.com. And on our socials, it's @Ramzilo.
Brilliant. That's my guest, Kekeletso Tsiluani, the co-founder and director of Ramzilo Trading. From 24 July to 27 July, Decorex Joburg returns to the Sandton Convention Centre, now spanning 5 halls. Explore over 300 brands, shop exclusive show specials, and discover the latest in interiors, kitchens, bathrooms, and luxury finishes. Experience live interactive demos, expert LED talks, and the handmade Africa design market. There's something for every style, space, and home. Book your tickets now at decorex.co.za or buy at the door.
Dear Journal, day 3049 of trying to be an adult. I still haven't bought a recycling bin, so there's a mountain of cans in my kitchen that could collapse at any moment. Anyway, what's that saying about your home being a reflection of your mental state?
Got evicted from the family home? Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's like 570 Rand a month, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
Babe,
Yeah?
the fridge light finally stopped flickering. Yeah, I replaced it. You replaced it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, on your own? Yep. You know what that means. Party!
Every excuse is a great one when you've got balloons, bubbles, gift wrap, cards, candles, and dress up.
I'm calling it the Fridge Light Festival!
The Crazy Store. Hey, you never know what you might find to have a good party.
So, Taryn, you've just graduated cum laude, but nothing says you're a genius quite like selling your car to We Buy Cars.
Absolutely. My car was an 18th birthday present, and it's time to move on to something a bit more mature.
So where did you hear about We Buy Cars?
All of my friends are using We Buy Cars. I would have had legit FOMO if I hadn't used them. And it was so quick. I did it on my laptop while sending around my CV.
Smart move, Taryn. Graduated and upgraded. We Buy Cars. Geared for success. Geared for you.
Just after 3 o'clock, it's been a pleasure having you join us this afternoon on the show. It's been Kabazela. Right now, 3 o'clock and time for the news with Mbali Dlamini.
This is EWN.
MPs are trying to cross the final hurdle of the national budget, and Tiffany Meek's bail application adjourns until Friday. Good afternoon, I'm Bali. Finance Minister and ANC MP David Masondo says political squabbling over the budget will come at a high price for service delivery. Masondo's warning about the impact on South Africans comes as MPs vote on the appropriation bill in the National Assembly this afternoon. If it passes, it will bring to a close 4 months of an intense back and forth between parties over government's spending plans. Nogukanya Mdambo has more.
In Budget 3.0, National Treasury focused on plans to address the persistent spending pressures to restore critical frontline services and invest in infrastructure. This is part of a broader plan to improve access to basic services and turn the economy around. The delays in tabling the budget and voting in favour of it means from August, government will only be able to spend 10% of the previous year's appropriation budget per month. Deputy Finance Minister David Masondo.
Our estimation is that by October 2025, the government will be without authority when we reach 100% of last year's appropriation.
He says the cost to service delivery is insurmountable.
It is the most vulnerable members of our society who will suffer most.
The EFF and MK party are expected to vote against the appropriation bill, while the ANC and DA MPs are expected to vote in favour of it. Nogukanya Ndambo, Eyewitness News in Cape Town.
In the courts now, the judge in the Senzo Meyiwa trial has ordered that one of the accused be moved from the Hoshimamburu prison, allowing him to choose which centre he wants to be held at. Proceedings in the Pretoria High Court were delayed this morning after 3 of the accused were late to arrive. The court heard that this was because one of the accused, Fisokuhle Ntuli, refused to leave his cell, claiming he was tortured overnight. Khomotso Modise reports.
Proceedings started in an unconventional way this morning with a correctional services official called to court to respond to the claims of torture by Fisokuhle Ntuli.
Ngiyahlukumezeka laphana inkosi enkantolo ngoba ngishuthi ngafike ngathathelwa ingubo nginqatshela ukufona.
He's being tortured. They know that he mentioned that he is denied to make a cell phone or a telephone call, and then they took his blankets.
While officials at the Hoshimamburu prison have denied any torture on Ntuli, Judge Ratamo Kgatleng gave him the choice of where he wants to be imprisoned.
Where do you want to be housed? You must make a choice. I'm going to make an order. If you say you want to be in Cape Town, I'll make that order. Where do you want to be housed?
Mokgatleng says while he's not allowed to make such an order, he's ordered that Ntuli be moved to the prison of his choice by tomorrow. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
Staying in the courts, there have been some heated moments during proceedings in the Relebogile Magistrates Court today as Tiffany Nicole Miek's lawyer tried to poke holes in the testimony of a state witness. Miek is accused of murdering her 11-year-old son, Jaden Lee. His body was found outside the apartment he shared with his mother in Vlehof several hours after his mother had reported him missing in May. Investigating officer Nceba Diko has been on the stand for the past 3 days, presenting the police's findings to the court. Ntokozo Khumalo reports.
During the grueling court proceedings today, Tiffany Meek's lawyer, Novel Naidu, has been trying to find flaws in the arguments made by Sergeant Nceba Diko earlier in the bail hearing. Naidu pressed him on the notion that it's unsafe for Meek to be released on bail.
You have fears and concern for the accused's safety. That's true. Correct? If the accused is willing to be granted bail, and she will go reside with her mother.
I'll oppose and leave it to the court to decide based on those reasons that you were referring to.
But her mother's address is still an option available to her. Do you agree with that?
That is you telling me that.
Meek's mother and brother, as well as some activists, are present in the public gallery. Ntokozo Khumalo, Eyewitness News, Relebogile.
The bail application has now been adjourned until Friday. To this now, former Chief Justice Raymond Zondo says restoring public confidence in the National Prosecuting Authority hinges on transparency. Speaking at an anti-corruption conference hosted by the South African Council of Churches, Zondo urged the NPA to explain controversial decisions, especially when dropping charges against high-profile individuals. The gathering brings together high-profile officials and thought leaders to discuss practical ways to combat corruption. Zondo has urged the NPA to explain its decisions, warning that silence fuels suspicion.
The NPA is critically important in the fight against corruption. We cannot afford to have a weak NPA. When they say they are withdrawing charges, and we are not told why, and that does not help them, because we are not going to know if the withdrawal of charges has something to do with corruption.
And in Japan, Kansai Electrical Power has announced the start of research aimed at constructing a new nuclear reactor at its Mihama power plant. The plant, located in the west of the country, will replace the existing facility. The research will focus on topography, geology, and will include communication with local residents. This is the country's first concrete step towards building a new nuclear reactor since the Great East Japan earthquake in 2011. That disaster triggered a meltdown at the Tokyo Electric Power's Fukushima plant, leading to it being shut down. Gold is trading at $3,463.28 an ounce. The rand is at 17.54 to the dollar, 23.75 to the pound, 20.58 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $68.59 a barrel.
Leaving the Pretoria CBD, traffic sluggish in Hermanstad on Eskiam Patlele between Van der Hof and the R80, while in Parktown traveling through the Joburg CBD. There's slow-moving traffic on the M1 southbound from Killarney Bains all the way to the double-decker section in Winchester Hills. There's an accident scene at the intersection of Rifle Range and Xavier, causing delays.
In your sport, Desiree Ellis hails Banyana after they go down to Nigeria in their WAFCON semi-final. Lucanio Faf de Klerk and Makazola Mapimpi left out of Springbok squad for Australia tests. And Yannick Sinner reappoints the coach he sacked during his doping scandal.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 17 and 18 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, Deputy Finance Minister and ANC MP David Masondo says political squabbling over the budget will come at a high price for service delivery.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. Walk through history, walk with it. Sunday, 27 July, 7:02 Walk the Talk. Hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane. More on primemediaplus.com.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Very good afternoon, everyone. It's 10 minutes past 3 on Wednesday, the 23rd of July. This is 702 Drive with me, John Perlman. Wherever you're listening to us in 702 land, welcome to the show. Legislation that could see U.S. sanctions against leading ANC politicians has made significant progress through the United States Congress. What are the implications of this for those politicians and, crucially, for the rest of us? Details and analysis of that after 5. Some other things on the go. The South African Council of Churches today began a 2-day conference on corruption in our country. What role might religion and morality play in turning the tide against this national curse? Or is it too late? More on that at 10 past 4 with the Council's Secretary General, Reverend Mzwandile Molo, is my guest. We'll look at the growing problem of financial exploitation of older people. What are the warning signs? What do you do about it? That's in Minding Your Money with Paul Rulofse at 10 to 5. And as the JSE pushes through the 100,000 barrier for the first time ever, how do we understand this massive surge in the context of our regularly miserably slow growth? Does the market bear any relation to the real economy at all? We'll put that question and some others to economist Dr. Iraj Abidian. He's with us at 20 past 5. We've got all that and a whole lot more on 702 Drive, including breaking news from the roads in our regular traffic updates, and we'll bring you the latest from those bull markets. As I mentioned, the JSE hitting new highs, the All-Share currently at 100,234. That's a gain of around 860 points. JSE giants, Naspers and Process are both up sharply, gains of 5.3% and 4.8% respectively. South 32 also having a good day, up by 3.8%. On the downside, there's something going on in the telco space. Vodacom is weaker by 5.7%. MTN's down by 2.6%. We'll get an explanation on that a little bit later. Mr. Price continuing a rocky week in general for retail stocks, down by 2.6%. The rand, though, continues to be robust, trading at 17.56 against the dollar. A euro will cost you 20 rand 59. That's a gain of 6 cents on this time yesterday. And our currency is currently trading at 23 rand and 77 cents against the pound. Brent crude is down by 55 cents, currently trading at $68.06 a barrel. We'll get all these details, plus that telco insight I'm hoping for with Stephen Curtis at 25 past 4. We'll get the sport with Tolakele Mganga. Mbali Dlamini is with us with the very latest news headlines. You heard her a moment ago. She's back at 3:30. And Karabo Chale is back to keep an eye on the roads for us. This is 702 Drive. We're live in the place where you live. And if it's happening in 702 land, with your help, we will bring it to you first. What we do, though, want to hear from you is anything we might have missed or updates on stories we've been running, but perhaps we're a step or two behind. You know where to get us. If you don't, 072 702 1702 011 883 0702. It's 13 minutes past 3.
702.
Let's walk the talk.
So as always, lots to talk about, lots to inquire and ask questions about, and lots to think about. And as we say right here, when it comes to thoughts, often the most interesting thoughts are the most random, sometimes prompted by the movies.
Professor assigned this exercise and called it a bucket list. We were supposed to make a list of all the things we wanted to do in our lives before we kicked the bucket. Cutesy. It's pointless now. We could do this.
So we can do this. You can picture them, I think, from the Voices 2007 movie, The Bucket List. Morgan Freeman with a deeper voice there, Jack Nicholson alongside him. And when he said, we can do this, doing this is skydiving. So I've been making up a different list. I'm not too sure what to call it. I had an idea that kind of rhymes with bucket, but it's a list of all the things that I've decided I'm not going to do. I'm just not going to do in whatever time I have left on this earth. This is a list of things I actually, in some instances, actively do not want to do. So one of them would be skydiving. The other would be scuba diving. The other, again, would be bungee jumping. And then there are others that are not in the kind of physical risk space. This couldn't be less risky. I have no desire to visit Scandinavia. Nothing against Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Finland, but no desire to visit them. There are other places I would prefer to go. So they're off the list. I don't want to go to another football World Cup. I mean, if someone said, hey, John, I really want to take you, all expenses paid, to another football World Cup, I think I would probably want to. But it's not on my list of things to do, having totally immersed myself in 2010. And our World Cup, and for the very first time with the World Cup in Italy in 1990, when I was doing that, working more on that as a journalist. So those are a couple of things that I've just decided, no plans to do that. So that is my non-bucket list. I'm wondering what's on yours. Give us a call on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. I'm looking at my two colleagues who I think you guys should have bucket lists rather than non-bucket lists. But hey, over to you. Refuel Litsua, putting today's show together. Have you got some things that you decided, can't be bothered with that?
Good afternoon, John.
You don't have to have anything, by the way.
Okay.
No pressure.
That means more pressure. Good afternoon, John, and to the rest of the 702 family. So I had a couple of things on my bucket list. So I have arachnophobia. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought if I went to the Amazon, right, because they've got a massive amounts of spiders, they're big. So I thought if I go there, put a spider in my hand, a tarantula in my hand, I'd get over it. I'm not doing that. I really can't. Spiders scare me. They freak me out. I've really tried getting over it through the years. I just can't. I don't know how to do it. I've watched documentaries on spiders. I can't.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So,
and the second one was, the plan was to have an entire sleeve. So my entire arm would be full of tattoos.
Right.
That was the plan. I don't know what I was thinking. I just thought, you know what? Maybe it'll give me that cool, rough, creative look.
Yes.
I don't even have a single tattoo. And I'm just thinking, and I did make my appointments. I did go,
Oh, really?
And there was a payment plan in place. And I was intentional about it. I wasn't just sitting in my head. I was intentional. I had the design. And I got there and I was like, this is not for me, eh?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm so sorry to waste your time. Here's something to buy a cool drink with. I'm out.
So not even like a little spider tattoo.
Nothing, John. I can't even get a
hit
spider
the sweet spot.
earring.
No spiders, no tattoos. Okay, well that's two very interesting things that they were even on your list in the first place. How about you, Karabo? Are there some things that maybe in an earlier stage in your life you thought, really, one day I want to do this, and then you suddenly realize, nah.
No, I have never ever had intention of getting a tattoo. I've had people trying to convince me to get one, but I have no desire, and I'll pass on that one. I don't know why. It just doesn't seem appealing to me.
Off my list as well,
It's never been on my list.
Yeah.
So that's one of those. Definitely not skydiving, scared of heights, and bungee jumping. I'll pass, thank you.
Okay, so we're of one mind that we'll have to think of. Oh, and I probably won't go and do paintball again now that I've done it.
So much fun.
That is
though.
that is painfully fun.
That's what they told me. This is so much. The first time I got shot.
And my son wants to go do it. I'm like, are you sure? I'm like, bring it on. I'll show you.
Yeah, I'll see if you can get a 1 minute slot.
That is our group activity,
5 minutes.
John. Let's do it. I'm in.
Yeah, bye. 18 minutes past 3. What's on your list of things that you've decided? Because as life unfolds, there's a whole lot of things that people say, you really should do this. And you think to yourself, I'd really love to do this. And then, it's nice to make a list of things not on the list anymore. Because what it does do is free you to focus on the real bucket list stuff that with the shorter list, somehow it becomes more doable. My thoughts, what are yours? 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. It's 19 minutes past 3. Let's just update you on what's happening out on the roads. Getting stuck in traffic jams, probably on nobody's list, but Karabo will help you as best he can.
Well, at this stage, John Hermanstad, Pretoria, leaving the CBD traffic sluggish on Eskiam Pahlele between Van der Hof and the R80. Traveling through Parktown, there's already traffic pressure on the M1 southbound between Killarney Bends and the double-decker section. Traveling towards Bedfordview, that's leaving the Edenvale area. Expect some delays on the R24 westbound between Edenvale Road and the Kilulis interchange. In Winchester, we have an accident scene on a rifle range that's approaching Xavier, causing some delays. Already traffic backing up. This is in the Naturina area on the Golden Highway between Chris Hani Road and the N1. If you come across any other traffic issues, please SMS us on 31702. We are also on X at EWN Traffic.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
This news platform is also about exclusives.
Yeah.
Why didn't they run the story of the police arresting Mr. Molefe? Because that is an exclusive. At the time, nobody knew about it.
No, the publication is not operational. If you ever look at the website has not been running. So we were going to relaunch it with this exclusive.
I've got the website here opened, and there's a story that was published on the 22nd of July. So it is operational.
I'm talking about your exclusive story, not breaking news.
But then there's a story here on the website about Buti Manamela being appointed as Higher Education Minister. That's not an exclusive, but it's on your website.
Yes, it's just to keep the website running. I'm talking of operational in terms of an exclusive story.
Steve Madale, national spokesperson for the Patriotic Alliance.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
This year, the Private Security Industry Regulatory Authority, also known as CIRA, is proud to be partnered with 702 Walk the Talk. Look out for the CIRA activation at the finish point if you want to chat about how they contribute to safer communities. CIRA is also actively vetting all contracted private security companies that are involved in Walk the Talk, so you get to the finish line safely and confidently. CIRA, your partner in security and safety at 702 Walk the Talk. Safer homes, safer communities, safer businesses.
At Bright, we don't just provide business insurance, we insure your business's
future success.
Because your business is so much more than desks and computers and equipment, which is why we use our specialist expertise to tailor solutions for each client differently to ensure what's really important. So insure your businesses.
Financial security
with Bright today. Contact your broker or go to brightinsure.co.za to find out more. Bright. Approach risk with purpose. Bright is a licensed insurer and authorized FSP.
Oh, Shane. Do you have a sore throat? The Andalex range of lozenges offers two options. At the first signs of an irritated, scratchy throat, use Andalex lozenges for dual action, soothing relief. But for a painful, inflamed throat, use Andalex C lozenges for triple action, pain relief. Andalex, SA's #1 choice for a sore mouth and throat. Andalex lozenges are available at all leading pharmacies and supermarkets.
Just Andalex it.
Your office is more than just a place to work.
It's a reflection of your success. At Desk and Chair, we help you elevate your workspace with locally manufactured desks and a wide range of chairs to suit your style and budget. Our expert consultants are with you every step of the way, from planning to delivery and assembly. Visit our showroom in Midrand or shop online at deskandchair.co.za. Desk and Chair. Think, feel, work better.
Some walks are just for exercise, others for leisure. But this walk is for something greater.
It's team building.
This July, you won't just take a step, you'll take a stand. You'll walk through history. You'll walk with it. On Sunday, 27 July, the 702 Walk the Talk, hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane, returns. It's a route that winds through the heart and soul of our capital city. From the sacred grounds of Freedom Park to the powerful steps of the Union buildings. Choose the 8 kilometer for those walking strong, the 6.7 kilometer in honor of Mandela Month, or the 4 kilometer for families and first-timers. Entries are 360 Rand for adults, 200 Rand for children under 12. Enter now on primemediaplus.com. 702 Walk the Talk, hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane, is where footsteps become footprints.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Right, let's take ourselves to the Kempton Park Magistrates Court today, where Tabani Goodwill Nchalinchali appeared, charged with the murder of senior forensic auditor in the city of Ekurhuleni. You will recall the murder of Mpho Mafole, who had produced, by all accounts, significant reports investigating corruption in Ekurhuleni. Some rather dramatic revelations in the court. Let's get an update on that then from Alpha Ramoshwana, EWN reporter. Just to remind you, Alpha, some time back, before this was even news, before the name Mpho Mafole was actually known even, had done an expose of corruption going on in Ekurhuleni, where certain insiders in the Metro payment system were reducing dramatically to a cost of hundreds of millions, the money that was owed on rates and services, electricity, and so on. So, Alpha, a story you followed for a while, and an important moment. Somebody is in the dock.
Yeah, good afternoon. I mean, just for some context, like you said, John, there was a electricity fraud syndicate in the city of Ekurhuleni that happened between 2023 and 2024, in which electricity meters were tampered with. So about 1,660 households and commercial businesses in the city of Ekurhuleni had their accounts tampered with. So they started paying much less for electricity, and some of their accounts were completely erased from the system. And what happened is that only 2 years later, the city then does investigations and finds that this led to revenue losses amounting to more than 2 billion rand. And Mpho Mafole, who's the auditor who was killed last month, then did some investigations within the forensic unit of the municipality and compiled a comprehensive report of who was allegedly involved in the electricity tampering scheme, and a charge sheet of who needs to be held accountable, who needs to be taken to court for this syndicate. So on the very same day he submitted that report, he was murdered.
Okay, so we're in court today. Appearing in the dock is Tabani Goodwill Nchalinchali, and what emerged about him?
Tabani Goodwill Nchalinchali was arrested on Sunday for the murder of the senior auditor, Mpho Mafole, and appeared in court, the Kempton Park Magistrates Court today. It was a very brief court appearance. It was postponed to the 15th of August. The state has asked for more time to complete